Unit 3, Learning Target 5b. I can factor with a equals 1. Little reminder, if you have something that looks like x minus 2 times x plus 3, we know we're going to distribute x times x and get x squared, x times 3 and get 3x, negative 2 times x is negative 2x, and negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. We combine our like terms. 3x minus 2x gives us just 1x left. And then we bring down the other two pieces. So we are going to take something that looks like our answer, and we want to put it back to how it originally started, just like we did with Learning Target 5a. The first thing you always want to do is look for your greatest common factor if there is one. So with example 1, the first term doesn't have any numbers, and the third term doesn't have any x's. So there's nothing we can take out of that. So we can go ahead and draw our parentheses because we know that's what it's going to want to look like. But let's see where each of these pieces come from. So if we go back up to our reminder, the first term, it came from doing x squared from x times x. So that first term came from the first two pieces. So if we want x squared, in example 1, we're going to put an x and an x. Then that second term, we've got 1x right here. 1 came from doing negative 2 plus 3. We add our numbers together. And then the last term, negative 6, came from doing negative 2 times 3. We multiplied the numbers. So this number in our first factor and this number in our second factor, they multiplied to get the third term and added to get the second term. So we want to know what's going to multiply to get 15, and we want it to add together to get 8. So if it doesn't come to you right at the first thought, just start with 1. We know that 1 times 15 is 15, but if we add those together, we're going to get 16. So that one doesn't work. 2 doesn't go into 15, but 3 does. We know that 3 times 5 is 15. If we add those together, we get 8. And that's what we wanted. We wanted them to add to get 8. So these two things, multiply to get 15 and add to get 8. So we put a plus 3 and a plus 5. The good thing about factoring is that we can always check ourselves because we know what to do when we have two parentheses next to each other. So if we did x times x, we're going to get x squared. X times 5 is 5x. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 5 is 15. Put our like terms together, we get x squared plus 8x plus 15. And that's what we started with, so our answer that we have is correct. Let's take a little bit of a pause and go back and look at the learning target. It says factor with a equals 1. Well, what does that mean? A equals 1 because a is what we call your first, is that leading coefficient. So the number in the very front is 1. Then our second term, the coefficient we call b, and in this case our b value is 8. The third term, which is just our constant, is c, and our c value is 15. Alright, example 2. Factor 2x squared minus 12x plus 16. Always the first thing you look for is the greatest common factor. And I'm noticing that each of these could be divided by 2. So we put a 2 out front. What we have left, our 2's cancel. X squared. Negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6. X. 16 divided by 2 is 8. Now our A value is 1. So we bring our 2 down, and we want 2 sets of parentheses because we know that's what we want it to look like. The first 2 pieces are x and x because that gets us x squared. And then we want to know what's going to multiply to get 8 and add to get negative 12. So 8, we know we could do 1 times 8, but that equals 9. 2 times 4 equals 6, and that's close to what we want. We want to add to get negative 6. I wrote that down wrong. So we want to add to get negative 6. We know that 2 times 4 is 8. If we add those together, we get 6, but we want it to be negative 6. So if we change both of those to negative, when we multiply those, we get 8, positive 8. When we add those together, we're going to get negative 6. So this is what those two numbers need to look like. A minus 2 and a minus 4. Again, the beneficial part is that we can always check ourselves. So if we distribute x times x, we're going to get x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. Negative 2 and x is negative 2x. Negative 2, negative 8, or negative 2, negative 4 is positive 8. Combine our like terms to get x squared minus 6x plus 8, which looks like this line. Then if we distribute our 2, we're going to get 2x squared minus 12x plus 16, which is what we originally started with. So this is our final answer. One more example. Factor 2x to the third plus 6x squared minus 20x. So greatest common factor, looking at our numbers, we can take out a 2. And each term has at least one x. So we're going to take out a 2x. 2x goes up front. Our 2's cancel. We had 3 x's, now we only have 2, so x squared. 6 divided by 2 is positive 3. X squared, take away an x, gives us just an x left. Negative 20 divided by 2 is negative 10, and our x's cancel. So our 2x stays out front. Since our a value is 1, now we can just draw our parentheses. We know that x and x are going to give us x squared, and we want something that multiplies to get 10, negative 10, and adds to get positive 3. So we know that 10 could be, negative 10 could be positive 1 and negative 10. Those added together get us negative 9. So that one doesn't work. We know that negative 10 could also be positive 2 and negative 5, which adds to get us negative 3. So that's close, but our sign isn't correct. So we're going to switch those signs. Negative 2 plus 5 multiplies to get us negative 10, adds to get us 3. So those are the two numbers that need to go in our parentheses, minus 2 and plus 5. We can check ourselves by distributing x minus 2 to x plus 5 to get x squared plus 5x minus 2x minus 10. Combine your like terms to get x squared plus 3x minus 10, and distribute the 2x to get 2x to the third plus 6x squared minus 20x. And that is what we started with. So this answer that we have is correct. Have fun factoring.